What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, this piece of crap right here. Plus, you get access to our nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus for the best lines, and most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? Well, it's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my picks each and every day. We got a boatload of home runs. We're going home run hunting. We got a lot of bets today, Daniel. A lot of mispricing. So I've been absolutely crushed by strikeout props this year because I've been going heavy on the unders. And it just has not worked out well. So it's kind of the same thing that happened last year. I got slaughtered beyond belief the first month. And it's because they were using a different ball than they were using the year before. Like, it's very clearly doing that again. They're back to the juiced balls. I mean, is that what you're kind of seeing too, Daniel?
So I don't know, man. How do you quantify? And thank you for that introduction, by the way. How do you quantify like the pitch count thing? You know, I think some pitchers are affected that to some degree. How to quantify it, I don't know. But I would think some pitchers probably don't care. Probably most don't care. But some it probably bothers them to some degree. Who knows? I saw Derek Carty of the bat. Of the lover of sample sizes. Now the sample size was very short. With 7 or 8 or 9 games in, he put a thread out on Twitter talking about how the ball was jumping more. I can't remember the context of the stat he was using. I feel like I should have pulled it up on the fly. I was not ready for this question, but basically talking about
contact percentage.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's what it was. Just how that has spiked this year. And why is that happening? Is it possibly small sample stuff? Is the ball possibly juiced? Maybe. I don't know. Right. By the way, Texas opening the roof today in Globe Life. Just throwing it out there. Apparently, it's like 70 degrees or so in Arlington. I just Googled it. 71. See what cheap meteorologist Kevin Roth has to say about it. But yeah, I thought it might be a little bit hotter. But yeah, I can open the roof when it's 71 against Zach Greinke. By the way, whenever I say Globe Life, I always think of Globo Gym. There's a fun fact for you. You remember Globo Gym?
Globo Gym. I watched Dodgeball last night.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What are the 5 Ds of dodgeball?
Duck, dip, dive, dodge. Dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge. Boy, I spelled your name wrong again.
Dude, seriously? It's the disrespect. That introduction and you can't spell my name correctly. I'm playing hurt right now. I'm not feeling well. I'm sick, but I wanted to jump on because I haven't been on here in a while. Happy to be back.
No, I spelled it right. ALMANAC.
Oh, Almanac. Oh, you're talking about my Twitter handle.
Yeah.
It did not pop up my mentions for the record. So
no, it's not.
You did not put a space. You did not put a space. You put a space after the at. That's what you did. It looks like it.
Maybe. Agree to disagree.
Amateur hour.
Yeah.
Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
I'm just waiting for my wife to give birth, so I'm kind of all over the place.
Understood. Which might happen mid-show, possibly.
I mean, it's possible, but unlikely. Like, apparently, it takes a little while. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, the odds are
it's not quite what you think. Like, labor can last like 10 hours.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or more than that. But we got baseball to talk about, and
I'm excited.
Yeah, let's just get right in. Let's see. Chicago, Minnesota. Better get into this because it's starting in a few minutes. I have one bet in here, and it's Gavin Sheets. What would you think his line to hit home run would be at?
Okay, so confession time. I mostly focused my research on like the main slate, so I've not looked at this Chicago Minnesota game that starts in 5 minutes or so. I know Maeda was like really good in his start earlier this year. He had a 50% K rate and a 21% swinging strike rate, which is, that's not going to sustain, but that was interesting because he missed the entire season last year. They don't really push him either, but I would say the way you're framing that, and I assume that means you're betting Gavin Sheets, it's probably like 6 plus 650 plus 700, something like that. Pretty high.
800.
Okay. Yeah. It's gotta be a big number for you to be on board for that.
Yeah. Platoon split. We don't have a big sample size. Maeda did have a massive fly ball rate in his first outing. That may or may not continue. Who knows? But going back to the past, like 1.39 home runs per 9 given up. Sheets, solid home run guy, has the platoon split, has the pop, plus 800. Bad number over at Caesars. but I want to get to a more interesting game. Let's see. I've got a bunch of home runs. So we'll go with Seattle, Chicago. So I hit everything.
Yeah. I feel like there's a big dumper reference coming in our feature.
There is not. I actually, strangely enough,
Oh.
prefer him batting lefty to righty by a pretty decent degree. I might end up hitting him, but as of right now, I don't have him. So I have AJ Pollock plus 525 to hit home run. Eugenio Suarez plus 470 to hit home run. J-Rod, favorite bet on the board today, plus 550 to hit a home run. Like Ty France plus 800 to hit home run. Smiley,
that's a big number.
To righties, which is what I have all of them. 40% fly ball rate, 35% hard contact rate, 180 ISO. He's been not great versus righties. I don't remember his home run to fly ball numbers. I'm gonna look that back up, but he's
I have it in front of me. 11.8% home run to fly ball last year. So that's kind of little right around league average or so. Not unlucky. We can just say that 1.38 homers per 9. That this is including this year for what it's worth, but this is obviously a large chunk of the data will be coming from last season as opposed to his one start, including the one start. But yeah, this is fly balls were 42% as well. So fly ball guy as well. When I imagine, I don't have this in front of me. I guess I can pull it up the old plate IQ. More fly balls, I presume, to righties.
Yeah,
could be wrong with that.
He has significantly more fly balls to righties. Hard contact numbers slightly more to lefties, so evens out a little bit. That's why his ISO. But he's due for some negative home run to fly ball variance, like 2021, 1.92 home runs per 9. 2019, 2.53. Even back when he was playing for Tampa Bay, he was at 1.5, 1.6. Like, he's giving up bombs. He's going to continue to give up bombs. I mean, the bat has him projected for around 1.85 home runs per 9. So really good.
He's
number.
A big curveball guy. So he's a larger reverse split guy too. So just gotta take that in mind, I suppose. I don't
think as much when it comes to home runs. Like
that may be true. I've not dug into that.
Big thing is curveball. Like a big slider guy is going to increase drastically overall performance versus same-handedness, and probably going to increase strikeouts a decent amount to handedness. But overall, like home runs righty to lefty are not going to be that drastically different with that. Same thing with curveball. Curveball, while you're going to get a higher strikeout rate versus opposite handedness, you may not get a ton of you still may get a ton of home runs. But yeah, Smiley
last season,
overall,
by the way, okay, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, 1.52 home runs per 9 to righties compared to 1.3 to lefties. So more home runs to righties, and that's including his earlier years where he was better, a little bit better of a prospect and doing a bit better. So overall, it's probably a yeah, I don't know. My wife just texted me. So yeah, overall, going to give up some home runs. Yeah, so France, J-Rod, Suarez, Pollock hitting all of them. And then on the other side, Mancini. What do you think his home run line is? Again, it's going up against Castillo. He's not a big home run.
I love Castillo. It's got to be a big number. By the ballpark in Chicago today, we're looking at 62 degrees, a breeze out to left field at about 6 miles per hour. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, the Weather Edge tool, it's got it basically as neutral, right? In 54 previous games, negative 3% as far as homers and an 8% bump as far as runs. I assume that's basically neutral. Is that kind of where you're at as well as far as this game?
Yep, a little bit breeze out. Weather is not ideal, but it's not bad, honestly. Chicago. Pretty
Castillo just doesn't give up homers is the thing. Like, he's a pretty good ground ball guy, 33% fly ball last year, pretty solid. 0.72 homers per 9. I think he's been a little bit lucky as far as homer in the fly ball. Let's pull that up. 9.3% is a little bit lucky there. But you're probably getting 7 or 8 to 1, I assume?
11.
Okay. Yeah.
Plus 1,100.
Yeah, I'll fire at 11 to 1.
Yeah, we're rolling hard with that one. So that game going to be big for home runs. Let's see. Scroll into the next game. St. Louis, Colorado. I mean, solid weather. I think it's like 75 out in Coors Field today. Solid. St. Louis getting a matchup versus Marquez. Like Marquez, not a terrible pitcher, not a great pitcher. Like he's giving up well above average hard contact. Part of that is playing in Coors. That's definitely going to happen. But overall, like he's not great. I prefer lefties against him, but the numbers on the righties, plus 420 for Goldschmidt, plus 420 for Arenado, plus 550 for Contreras, and plus 700 for Jordan Walker. Like all these guys have a ton of pop. It's Coors. It's a decent day. I'm going for all their home run props.
And the ISO was bad last year for righties as well. 198's not good. Obviously, 220 versus lefties. St. Louis, the best team in baseball versus lefties. This is a righty. Their lefty power is not great, but they have some. Do we have a number on Gorman by chance?
Gorman, let me check.
Norman Gorman.
I think he was one. We do. I can't remember, but I think I was thinking it was plus 500. I was thinking about Gorman. It. I might still end up hitting it.
Yeah, I mean Burleson probably cracks the lineup. I feel like Burleson's the guy that's most vulnerable to get the pinch hit, for what it's worth. This Colorado bullpen, last I checked, only one lefty lurking in there, so really likely that it's going to continue with right-handers. So I guess you wouldn't necessarily get pulled for lefty-righty platoon stuff, maybe just because you just think another guy's better in a certain situation. But we're assuming that Burleson hits the second spot for what it's worth. Donovan leading off. We've seen Edman switch hitter against righties. I believe he's been hitting in the 9 spot. That's kind of where we have him projected right now. But this lineup, man, it's so loaded. Adding Walker and adding Contreras. Contreras is a significant upgrade over Yadier Molina. Yadier Molina, obviously Hall of Famer. Congratulations to him, but he was not very good the last several years, and it's just the overall addition, and maybe chases Marquez out a little bit earlier possibly, and you get a weaker arm, especially if you happen to be ahead, which they are. I believe they're projected to win this game. I presume they are. But, love the Cardinals. I looked ahead. They do face a lefty tomorrow. I think it's Kyle Freeland, I want to say. So I think Freeland's okay, but good luck against all this righty power. If you get these lines tomorrow, by the way, pounce on them. Like, look if you try to find them early, because, lefty power in Coors Field, it's gonna be tough. I know Freeland. I think Freeland's a ground ball guy, but still, good luck against these Cardinals tomorrow.
Yep, and then on the Rockies side, so Bryant is sitting at plus 575. Crone is sitting at plus 475. I hit both those. Matt's lefty, so they have the platoon split. On top of that, Matt's gives up a decent amount of power, 205 ISO last season, 40% hard contact rate to righties. Both Bryant and Crone, I think, have decent fly ball numbers. Actually, good fly ball numbers. So getting those numbers, Coors, nice day. I'm hitting them.
So let's see. Bryant, not the sample wasn't huge, obviously didn't play a ton last year, but 41% fly balls, like you're talking about. And Crone had a 45% fly ball rate, which is awesome. That's really good. And Matz gives up too many fly balls as well. A few too many, I would say. No, I'm sorry. He's a ground ball guy. I apologize. Yeah.
He's against righties. Not even. He gives up a ton of line drives, like line drive, fly ball number. His ground ball numbers are not great versus righties. Fantastic versus lefties, not great versus righties.
Correct.
Hard contact numbers, average versus lefties, but terrible versus righties. 40.6% looks like. So Matt's.
That's a big number.
While he was like a little bit reverse splits for a while, his changeup has definitely fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm curious. Derek Carty, the bat, he does have like pitchers labeled certain, what their splits happen to be labeled. What's he labeled at? Trying to see if we can find this here on the fly, just as an average split for what it's worth. But like you said, versus righties, the fly balls.
Yeah, Matz is probably going to come in as splits neutral to slightly reverse splits, but when it comes to power, he's giving up a lot of power to righties. Correct.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Crone obviously was scratched yesterday. I think he was ill. I want to say that's what I would say. Just confirm he's in the lineup. What's the deal? I remember this last year. If a guy is not in the starting lineup, some will just kind of cross him off the list, and others, like if they pinch hit, you're in trouble because now you only have one shot and like he
Yeah,
officially played.
FanDuel
So
and Caesars, if they pinch hit, you're kind of screwed. But the
yeah,
number is good enough where I'm rolling to roll with it. Yeah, let's see. Got some other ones outside of those games. Justin Turner to hit a home run plus 800. Kind of like that one. Odds are good. Gets the platoon split. Oh, nice. Caesars is voiding this year when they don't start. So perfect.
oh, that's good.
So it gives a matchup versus Fleming. Fleming, a lot worse versus righties. Turner still has a decent amount of pop. Like I know it didn't show it a ton last year, but versus lefties, he's got some pop. Had a 38% hard contact rate last year, 40% fly ball rate, plus 800. I'd take that. And I mean, at this point in this season, domes are probably better than being outside in a lot of scenarios. You got any problem with that one?
Or neutral. Yeah. No, I'm good with that. No issues. Looks like the piggyback. It's going to be Beeks and Fleming, like Beeks being the opener, and both are left-handed for what it's worth. That's what we're projecting out of Tampa Bay. The undefeated Tampa Bay Rays, not 10-0, 11-0. What are they right now? They're doing really good. They're playing great.
They're very good,
as always. They still have a Cy Young. Yeah.
Swanson plus 800 in that Cubs game going up against Castillo. Plus 800 is just too good of odds for Swanson.
Yeah.
Even against Castillo.
Yeah.
Let's see. Love this bet. Absolutely love this bet. So Austin Riley, guy hit 39 home runs last year. What do you think his line's at? He's going up against Craycraft? No, not Cray. Ashcraft. Going up against Ashcraft. Ashcraft, he's been solid in his first outing, but still last season, 46.8% hard contact rate, slightly below average fly balls, but Riley, very good home run hitter. What do you think his odds are at?
Yeah, 25% ground balls for Ashcraft last year. It might be different as far as the split. I'm looking at the overall number. That's obviously, that's not a lot. Doesn't strike anybody out, though. I'm going to say the way you're framing it, that we're getting about 6-1.
Close, 575 plus 575.
Yeah, that's pretty
which
good.
Is just
I'd fire on that.
Yeah, that's an asinine number there. That's like, I don't care if he's going up against Kershaw or I'm trying to think, like, if he's going up against Framber, maybe I don't take that, but almost any other
70% ground balls or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm rolling with that. And then I got a few total bases bets. J-Rod over 1.5 total bases, plus 102 at Caesars, plus 110 at Bet Rivers if you can get it there. Otani over 1.5 total bases, plus 123 at Caesars.
Eesh.
And Mike Trout over 1.5 total bases, minus 110 at Caesars. All pretty.
What's a walk? What is a walk rated? Is it you get a base for that or no?
No.
No, right?
Nope. But I mean, what's his name? Isn't he like Corbin just bad? He's not really walking.
Oh, I know.
Kind of guy, remember correctly. Yeah, he's only at 6.8% walk rate, which is why I don't take total bases too often on Soto, because massive walk rate, obviously.
He's very happy to take first base. Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking, I have an interesting thought for a homer. I wanted to check the odds on it. I thought Matt Carpenter would be an interesting play against Scherzer. Scherzer, big fly ball guy,
Plus
lefty power.
That's
not big enough. Yeah, I don't think that's big enough.
There's
a slight chance he gets the hook as well.
I'm looking for the massive discrepancies, like the lines that should be at plus 250 or plus 300, they're at plus 450, plus 500. The ones that should be at plus 450, they're like plus 800, 900. I mean, like I've found a lot of these, and I'm going to keep digging. I'm probably going to end up betting more. I like to party.
Those numbers seem a little too good. Like obviously there's huge variance in it, and like all those guys can out homer. That's just how baseball goes. But I feel like if you send this out like 1,000 times, I think you're ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean that's the thing. Like I missed 10 straight home run bets the other day, and that'll happen, especially when you're betting plus 600, plus 800, plus 1,000. Like that just ran a bit, and then I hit Wander Franco yesterday at plus 950, and it's like boom, all right, paid for all the 10 missed in a row, and now I'm back to even in 3 days just based off of one in the third day. So like last 3 days I'm down, but like we've hit Vlad plus 650. We hit Varsho like plus 800. We hit can't remember his name for Cincy like plus 700. You just
Friedel
get
or
a few.
something.
You like that's the thing with like the turd bombs that always bothers me. Like, oh, you had 0 yesterday. I'm like, I had all plus 600. If I have one every day of that, I have over 100% ROI. And people don't understand that.
Well, logic and reason
One
is
every
like
2 days.
sometimes the comment section is void of that.
Yeah, one if you're betting all plus 600, one every 2 days is going to be about a 17% ROI, which is unreal good. Like people just don't understand that. And I mean, last year was terrible because FanDuel and Caesars changed all the odds and dropped them 300 points because I
Like
was
everybody went down like 10 or
throwing them.
20%, right?
Yeah, and then I had to keep going. So like we'll see if they do it this year, but as of right now, like home runs are more profitable than pitcher props.
By the way,
The ball
when
is
I
due.
when you asked me to come on the show, I was thinking like, oh, I wanted to point out this Minnesota lineup today. Minnesota against Chicago. There's no Buxton and there's no Correa. This Minnesota lineup is horrendous. And I was like, well, let's pounce on Cease. Let's talk about Dylan Cease. And I forgot that game's already started. And I just clicked on over, and Dylan Cease already struck out the first 2 hitters. Do you see the Twins lineups today? It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I almost bet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I'm about to have a kid. I'm trying
3
not to
strikeouts
focus
in the first.
too much on pitcher props right now because that, like, I have to look way more into the ridiculousness of the ball and the change of the pitch count and the pitch clock, and there's too many variables that I can't get a. I've done terrible on them, and I can't get a full what's it called? A full.
What about what about unders though? Like obviously this is not something I want to bet an under on, but like the thought process, if you think that's a thing,
I've been betting unders and it's been crushing me. So like the juiced ball, you forget back in 2019, I think it was, maybe 2020. I can't remember when they had the juiced ball. It was ridiculous amount of strikeouts and home runs. Like the velocity of the ball is better. Like it curves more, it changes, it moves more. So like when you actually get a hold of it, it's going to go further, but your chances of getting a hold of it are much lower. So home runs increase and strikeouts increase.
I haven't looked. So league strikeouts are up.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like that's my guess. I haven't looked into it enough, but that's kind of what I'm gathering.
Yeah. I mean, like, is the sample big enough? We'll see. And obviously, with the weather change, if the ball is juiced, like you suggest, once it heats up, we're gonna party, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Cardi already did the. So I'll look at what. Shout out to Cardi if you haven't bought the bat. Bad Life Choices, that's #1 projection system out there. I trust it, even though I hate giving Cardi credit. It's fantastic. Yeah, so home run rate in 2019 was 5.4% when the juice balls came out, and still was out, I think, in 2020 when it was 5.2%. That's weather adjusted. Weather adjusted this year is 5.3%. Unadjusted, even though it's been bad weather, is 4.7%. And he regressed with sample sizes at 5%. So, like the drastic decrease last year, it was at 4.2% last year. So the juice balls are back. MLB wants to make things more entertaining. Obviously, the pitch clock, way better in my opinion. I'm all for it, and it's more entertaining when you have home runs, strikeouts, and a shorter game.
It's also, I don't know how much baseball you're watching these days. I know you're prepping for a child, but like you remember when you used to watch the game and like you see the ball come off the bat, you don't know exactly where it's going, but you have a good idea. Like on the ground, it's like, and like sometimes, oh yeah, that's right up the middle. It's a base hit, and then 30% of the time, 40% of the time, it's like, oh, that's a double play. Never mind, the guy's right there, and like it's nice knowing like, oh, that's going to be a hit because you kind of like, and like 90% of the time you're right. Like the fielder is not where they used to be as far as the shift. Just sort of watching the game and that instant sort of thought of, oh, is that going to be okay? Yeah, good, base knock. Just a little thing, I suppose, as far as the shift. What are we going on here? I'm sorry, I was distracted by something on Twitter, but move on. My apologies.
Yeah, no, well, that's it. That's the show. That's all my bets. Sure, I'll be rolling out more later today. Be careful because again, home runs are. I'm at right now. I'm rolling 1/5 of a unit on home runs. But granted, they're not going to let me get more than like I'm betting 100 just straight up because generally they'll allow me like 110, 115, 120. So I don't want to have it go get referred. That raises red flags. So yeah.
What about
That's it.
steals, by the way? Have you is the market just overcorrected and it's hard to
It's MGM and it's DK and they won't let me get more than $10 down.
wait, so those are like the only two books that offer stolen bases, basically?
Sorry, and PointsBet might still allow them, but also not letting me get more than $10 down. Let's see. Let's look. I think it might.
Is this
just
back to
MGM
last season
drafting.
when you picked on Syndergaard? Is that what it is? It's dating that far back?
Well, that's why Superbook no longer allows it. But no, DK and MGM, I'm just full on. Like any props, I'm just done for there. Like they'll still let me throw a few grand down on a spread or a money line, but props they're not going to let me get anything down. MGM just full on cut me off. Like spread, I can get $50 down. Yeah, so it's done for.
That's a bummer. It was a good run though with Thor last year on Superbook. The numbers were ridiculous. I remember I was in I was in Colorado at the time.
I took Superbook for like 20 grand last year on. I had like 100% ROI on Superbook, something ridiculous. Yeah, and they full on took props off for the state of Colorado, which I'm wondering if I had something to do with.
You moved the needle, man. That's what's going on. That clearly it's bought like an addition on your house, basically. That's pretty good.
It bought my house.
Well, there you go. Well, I mean, your house. Well, probably. Oh yeah. Well, not. I was saying just like stolen bases specifically, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but all right, that's it. That's the show. Hope you enjoyed it.
Will you be with Child tomorrow in the next show, or we'll see?
Literally at any given time this week, I could just be gone. Like, I don't know when she's gone into labor. At the latest, it's going to be next Tuesday, but like almost certainly at some point before, most likely before Thursday, it's going to be. I'm going to be gone. So my guess is tomorrow. Hopefully it's Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Or Friday, because I want to go to the pool. It's 80 degrees outside tomorrow.
I mean, you're going to base it around if you get to go to the pool. Yeah. Make sure you tell your wife that try to make it convenient for you, right? But when she decides to go into labor.
Yeah, I've told her, but yeah, it might be close to day. But that's it. That's the show.
She's got control of it.
We're out of here.